high delvers. In this lesson, we would be running through the where clause. We would also speak a bit about the comparison operators. So let's just get right into it. Just open Workbench again. I would create a new I've done that before. I'm just going to drop that because create a new database called Superstore, and this is Superstore. I would apply. All right, that's finished and that's perfect. That's all we want. I think I've applied that already, so yeah, that's what we want. I'm just going to cancel that, and that's our Superstore database, and obviously it has nothing in it as usual. So I'm just going to add a table quickly into that database. So it's called Superstore Sales. Open. Next. Yes. Next. Next. So it's just loading up that, and I think it's done. 19 records imported. Finished. That's fine. All right. So let's just get straight into the Superstore. So into select. I don't know why it's making me write this out again, but it's fine. Select from. I'm not used to writing all of these out. From. I think the table is called. I'm just gonna check quickly. Oh, so I've not refreshed that. Okay, I'm just gonna refresh it. Yeah. From some supermarket. I'm just gonna type it. Okay, there it is. Supermarket sales and the semicolon. Let's just run that quickly. Yeah, I'm just gonna drag that a bit up. All right, so there it is. We have this table which contains the invoice ID for a superstore, the branch, the city, the customer type if it's normal or it's a member, the gender, the product line, the unit price of what each customers are buying, the quantity, the tax percent, the total, the date, the time, the kind of payment, the gross margin percentage, and the gross income and the rating. So it's a loaded one. It's a loaded one. So as you said, as I've explained before, select statement obviously filters all the columns, and it does it based on the condition on what we are requesting. In this syntax or in this query, we've added everything, which is what that means. So select everything from that table. So I'm just going to use the where clause now. Now I've explained this before. So the where clause basically filters row based on the condition. So if the condition is true, we would have that in our result. And if that condition isn't found or is not true for any particular row, we won't have that row in our result, if that makes sense. So it only checks it filters based on the row as compared to select that obviously returns output based on the columns. So let's say, for example, we just want to see, so there's quite a number of things. So we just want to see the customers that are, we want to filter on the gender and just see the customers that are male. Let's see how many. Obviously it's known that sometimes men don't really go for shopping. Maybe, I don't know, I might be wrong. So I just want to filter on that and say where the gender is equal to, like, I'm just going to put in male there. Let's see the number of male that actually, now this won't work. I know that, but I'm going to explain later. Yeah, it's not working. And why is that so? Now, we have different types of, we have different data types. And those data types, for SQL to understand, there's a way to write them. So we have integers, we have the date, we have the strings, and many more. When we get into data type, we would get a bit more exhaustive on those lists. But now, anything that's like a word that's a string, anything that's like a number, decimals, those are integers, and things that are like dates dates, basically that's classified as a data type. So now if it's a string, you need to add this on. You have to put it in that to ensure that SQL understand what you're saying. So if I run this now, it comes up with the result of, can you see, of it comes up with rows where that condition is true. So wherever the gender is equal to male, it returns every one of those rows, if that makes sense. Now, this is not just for strings. It can be used for dates, it can be used for numbers. So imagine, for example, I want to filter on the quantity. Say, for example, I'm just interested in, I say I want to give out a discount. I'm just saying, and if you have purchased something more than 7, you're going to get a discount. So I want to know those that have purchased things more than 7. So I'm just going to say where the quantity, now if it's more than 7, then that will become greater than. So that's a different comparison operator. So basically we are using it to compare something in simple terms. So let's say where the quantity is greater than 7. Now for this, you don't need it's an integer, and SQL understands it as an integer, so you don't need to put it in a colon or something. You don't need that. Sorry, it's not called a colon. What's that called now? I can't remember that. Yeah, but that's fine. We just get on with it. So if the quantity is greater than 7, we just want to load that. Oh, these are good customers. Even though they don't have a name, we can only track them using the invoice ID. Most likely, maybe if we check the invoice ID, we'll eventually find the names of the customers. But yeah, so just 4 customers, 2 males and 2 females, actually purchased more than a quantity of 8. So that's just that. Now let's just get a bit more into the comparison operators. I'm just going to comment these out quickly. So the comparison operators, you have the equal to, which we've checked. You have the greater than, which we've checked. We have the less than, which we've checked. We have not equal to. So that is, I'm saying I don't return the rows where this condition is not equal to this. So that can be written in 2 ways. Oftentimes I stick with this, not that, with this. But sometimes it can also, just going to put a slash there so you understand that it's all the same. Sometimes it can also be written as that and an equal to sign. So it all depends on which of them you prefer. So you have the greater than, the equals to, the greater than, less than, not equals to, then you have the greater than or equals to, and you have the less than or equals to. So basically you're saying, say for example now, I've said where the quantity is greater than 7, it means 7 would not be included in my result. But if, let's assume that what I wanted was greater than and equals to 7. If I load that again, now 7 is included in my result. So that's just what that is. Say for example, I'm interested in, let's just look at something again. Okay, let's filter on gender again. Let's just, yeah, or let me look for something else. Let's filter on the payment. So say for example, just gonna put that there. Now for the payments, like let's just filter on the payments. Let's say we're interested in those that have only paid, we're interested in those that have paid with cash and their credit card. So that means, so from what we can see, obviously this is not a full table, but obviously I think it gives a picture of the distinct values in that colon. So we have those that have paid with an e-wallet, those that have paid with the credit card, and those that have paid with cash. So say for example, I just want to return those that have paid with the e-wallet and the cash, and I don't want the credit card. So I can say where the payment is not equal to. So I can do this. I can say do this is not equal to credit card. So, and obviously you need to put that in because it's a string. So we say it's not equal to what's wrong? Yeah, it's not equal to credit card. You must ensure it fits exactly. It's not equal to credit card. So if I do that now and I just load that up, now it's loading that up now, and I'm just gonna go all the way to the payment. Okay, I'm just gonna select here and just select payment just to make it easier. I'm just gonna select payment. I'm not sure if that's how it's spelled, to be fair. All right, that's how it's spelled. All right, so then we have everything, and we can see that we don't have any colon or any row, where we have credit card. So those are the basics of the where statement. It's basically just to filter rows that have a specific value or a specific condition. And for us to use the where statement, we need to use the comparative comparison operators. I hope you've learned one or two. And the next lesson, we'll go on to the logical operators. All right, there. See you in the next lesson. Bye.